everybody, and welcome to Ernée in France for the 76th edition of the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations. We are live, as always, at the biggest event on the motocross calendar. My name's Paul Malin, Jason Thomas alongside me from Fly Racing, and we will be with you every step of the way. 3 races coming your way today. First up, MXGP and MX2. We'll have a break. We return with the MX2 and MX Open class riders, and then it will be the big race, the decider, MXGP and Open. So far, it's been an absolutely electric atmosphere. We're on the northwest coast, about an hour from there, and it's been an absolutely glorious weekend so far. And we are blessed with temperatures normally that you would see in the summer. Will that affect the track conditions? Maybe, maybe not. Depends how the track crew have gone about it, but what a scene and what an occasion. Jason Thomas.
Yeah, just unbelievable. You can see the crowd there. They're out in full force, ready to cheer on their French team here, and they've shown up so far. It's just been an unbelievably great weekend. Perfect weather, as you mentioned, perfect race conditions, and we'll see what Sunday brings. We were just outside a few moments ago before we came on air. The French fans did an impromptu national anthem, and it went off. It was loud, and they are very, very proud. They're not all French, by the way. There are nations from all over the world, and they're all enjoying this occasion. Yeah, and it's just what you would expect, right? There's so much enthusiasm in this part of the world. And remember, this team, this French home team, hasn't won since 2018, and I think they're looking for a return to form here this weekend. Well, the racetrack has had some prep since the B final about an hour and a half ago. This is what it looks like on the flat plan. 4 intermediate sectors, as always. So from the finish line, if you go clockwise, down the bottom of the hill, back on the start straight to Sector 1. That is Sector 1. Sector 2 then begins and ends midway around the circuit, just before the combination there. Sector 3 ends at the top of the hill, and Sector 4 when they hit the finish line. Well, if you haven't been with us throughout the weekend, here's what the track looks like. Here's our GoPro track preview with Maxime Renault and Kenny Roczen, these 2 riders from France and Germany. Of course, this was done around about 12:30 after the free practice sessions on Saturday, but it'll give you an indication as to what the track looks like. A decent start straight here into a tight 90-degree right-hand turn over the Foxhole shot line. And this is where it gets interesting, not through there, but also up onto this plateau coming into turn 2. Well, you can see how rocky it is, too. That's the first thing I notice here. We've been watching all weekend, but this is such a different perspective on it. And all that just, it kind of takes the traction away, right? I've heard that from the Americans all weekend, is about trying to find traction, trying to be able to trust the dirt. And you see how dry it is, too. That's another factor this weekend. They didn't get a lot of moisture in it before the weekend, and they've been chasing that, just trying to get some moisture into it, get it a little deeper as the weekend's gone on. Up and over the big quad, and then through that long right. You see how it tightens up before dropping back downhill beneath the FC Moto jump. This turn here, this tabletop here, used to approach that from a 180 switchback when we were here last in 2015, but they've reverted back to the circuit from last year. This turn in the middle of the circuit, over the Ram rhythm section, uphill, off cambered as well, all kinds of movement going on. And again, that turn there, we'll see from the qualifying race highlights, a great line there from Jett Lawrence when he made his way past Romain Febvre. Well, and some of those sections really test your technique. We saw some of the riders, Americans have never been to this track before. These off-cambers, low traction environments. We saw RJ Hampshire crash there in the MX2 qualifier. It's really challenged these guys to perfect the body English and the body and all the things that the MXGP tracks they would find more common. Big step down jump here, down this section. There's so many things that this track brings about. Yeah, top of Monster Energy Mountain, you can double or triple your way down there if you like. Turn 12, bottom of the hill, long climb. This was causing problems first thing this morning because the sun right in the eyes, but that's moved around now. But you've got a couple of tight turns here. Inside there, and you can drop down a little bit further, but it just falls away. Very tricky corner, especially the last race when it dries out. Loose marbles. This is the final turn, the run to the Monster Energy finish line here. And as we come into land, just 2 corners to go. This left, that's pit lane, pit entrance right at the beginning of the straight. There's a goggle lane at the end if you need it, but we're back down the start straight for another lap here at Ernée. It's all very quiet out there at the moment. I noticed just so many shadows on the racetrack, and that's always a Motocross of Nations unique aspect, right? Because it's late in the year, the sun's lower in the sky, so as these motos progress, especially in race 3, that's going to be a factor. All those ruts are going to have shadows in them. A few Stars and Stripes fans in amongst the mostly European contingent, but
fantastic atmosphere. Lisa Leyland was down on the grid a few moments ago. She caught up with Calvin Vlaanderen of the Netherlands. They're down to 2 men this weekend, and Oriol Oliver of Spain.
So we're almost ready for the first race of the day, MXGP and MX2, but let's catch up with Team Spain's Oriol Oliver. Mainly, I want to speak to you, Oriol, because Team Spain qualified in second yesterday. Pleasant surprise, or is that where you guys would expect to be?
Yeah, with the teammates that I have, it's where we expected, for sure. First Nations for me, it's really exciting. Not only for me, the First Nations, also for the teammates that I have. It's amazing to be in this position, and I will try my best. We will see with the 450s. Yeah. It's important to start as many riders in the first laps as possible, try to pass, and yeah, we will fight till the end now.
And Oriol, like you said, it is the First Nations for you, but not only that, it was a last-minute selection for you as well. I know you're covering for David Bezeras. Yeah. Were you prepared coming into this weekend?
Yeah, also need to say that really appreciate that Bezeras after Matterley, he said to us that he was not 100%, and yeah, I appreciate that, and yeah, I have the opportunity, so yeah, now enjoy it. Yeah.
Best luck to you and the team. Thanks, Oriol. Okay, now time to grab a few words with Team Netherlands, Calvin Vlaanderen. Calvin, just to really chat about yesterday, tough day at the office for you guys. Firstly, how's Glenn? And are you guys feeling the pressure now coming into today?
Yeah, it was a tough day for all of us yesterday. Unfortunately, you know, this is motocross and this is racing, and these things happen. And Glenn is doing all right. I spoke to him this morning. Obviously, he's disappointed. He would love to be out there, you know, representing the Netherlands and fighting for our country. But you know, he had a concussion on his head, and these things you can't take you know, lightly. So he must take his rest, and me and Kyle will do our best today to put Netherlands close to the front as possible.
Well, it's a different racetrack today. It's been ripped, it's been watered. I guess it's a lot more technical out there, less slick, less hard. What are your thoughts on it?
It is a little bit more harder than what we expected. They didn't really. I think they try to rip it deep, but it's kind of compacting very quickly. But I mean, the pressure's off us, so we're just going to enjoy it. I mean, it's such a great event to be here and to be a part of all of this. And of course, we're going to give it our all and be proud at the end of the day.
Enjoy it, Calvin. Thank you. Okay, good luck to Team Netherlands and all the guys. It's time for the first race, MXGP and MX2.
What a sight this was a few moments ago. Not so much an opening ceremony, but just a welcome to France. Francis Magnano down there, the MC, the circuit announcer, just to give you an indication of what this atmosphere is like. If you're not French, it's cauldron-like, isn't it, Jason Thomas?
Yeah, but you have to respect the enthusiasm. There is just no environment like this. 102,000 people here over the weekend, and I tried to get to certain areas of this facility just for a different perspective, and I think I ran into all of them over the course of that walk.
I was through the paddock yesterday, and it took me forever just to get anywhere. I went down about an hour ago. It was a lot less busy. You know why? They're all up on the hill. They don't want to lose their spot, and it sounds strange, doesn't it? You're at an outdoor event, but you don't want to move for fear of losing your spot.
Yeah, it's, I saw people walking in when I was walking at 6:30 this morning with their lawn chairs, ready for the day. They were going to get to a spot and not leave for the day.
You were here for your breakfast early.
I was. Well, I was scared I wouldn't be able to get in because of all these people, and yeah, I think they just stayed here overnight.
Yeah. Anyway, the riders been out on site for their sighting lap. Let's take a look at how the Motocross of Nations works. Here's a look at the scoring system. So if you're new to the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations, here's how it works. Traditionally, we have 25 points for a win. This time, though, it's more what we call the Olympic system. So based on the previous year's result, the riders take their 1, 2, and 3. So if you were first overall, then you get 1, 2, and 3. That means you're the defending champions. Of course, we come into this weekend as Team USA with the 1, 2, and 3 on their number boards for the first time since they arrived in Lommel 2012, having won in France the year before. Each race result then is how it works. It's not 25 points anymore for the win. That's Grand Prix and elsewhere around the world. 1 point for a win, 2 for second, 3 for third, all the way down. 40 riders on the line. Your best 5 results count. And that means you've got, of course, you've got your worst result dropped as well. 3 riders, 2 races each. There's your 6 scores. You drop your worst. And it's the lowest score that wins. That's what makes this event so unique. And we can't wait to get this thing started once again. The lowest score wins. Here's how the riders line up for the first race. A combination of MXGP riders and MX2, so two countrymen together. France lining up with Romain Febvre and Tom Vial. MXGP on the left, MX2 on the right. Spain with Prado and Oliver, Lawrence and Lawrence, the two Lawrence boys. There is Romain Febvre for France. Of course, France get pole position because they had the lowest score in the qualifying races yesterday. A win for Maxime Renault in the open class, a win for Tom Vial. They didn't need Romain Febvre's fifth, unbelievably. But difficult to say who your money's on, because despite what happened yesterday in the results, it changes here because your best MX2 rider that may have got a point all of a sudden finds himself buried mid-pack. The fly race in 15-second order. Jason Thomas, this one, always good to get off to a great start.
Yeah, it's, I want to see who bounces back from yesterday. Romain Febvre didn't have his best day, and he's going to need to get the start here.
Gate drops here, MXGP, MX2. There's Andrea Adamo. He was upside down in turn one in the qualifying race, but it's Spain up the inside. Jorge Prado with the foxhole shot. Romain Febvre, that has to be on the green Kawasaki in second, and it is. And this place will erupt, but he gets passed by Siwa immediately from Switzerland. Vial in fifth position, just alongside Aaron Plessinger of the United States.
Yeah, really good start from Vial, and you wonder if he's back on that World Championship machine that he loved so much before leaving for the USA. Aaron Plessinger, for all the Americans watching, it was in fifth. You see him get, that's Langenfelder. You see a lot of MX2 bikes up front, so most of the teams must have given a good position, that inside starting position to the MX2 riders.
Yeah, it's not a fair advantage when you're MX2 trying to come in from the outside against the horsepower of 450s, but uphill, Siwa into that second position. Febvre there in third of France, but Febvre, a different combination through the rhythms, and he puts the squeeze. You can see how greasy the circuit is. The sprinklers have been on, precarious times and testing times. Romain Febvre almost eating the dirt there.
Yeah, it's a mix of hard and there's just wet sections. Really no soft left in the racetrack, but it's that muddy, slippery section, and this is where we saw riders having trouble. This is where Glenn Coldenhoff crashed yesterday. This is where RJ Hampshire crashed. You see Aaron Plessinger's rear end start to step out, and I think a lot of these guys learned from yesterday. The first lap is not the time to take a lot of chances here.
They've been on their sighting that. They know exactly what to expect, but the noise for this rider here, number 4, Romain Febvre, his teammate right there, number 5, Tom Vial, will give you the kind of implications as the race goes on. Remember, the lowest point, so Prado leading the way. Where is his teammate from Spain? Oliver in 25th place. So on that basis, France, Australia, Germany and USA are well placed with the riders that they have in the top positions.
Well, you see Febvre really trying to make an effort to keep Prado inside on this opening lap because Prado is so good at running away. Hampshire finding some trouble there and going down.
Is that him and Oliver? It is.
Yeah, it is, yep.
So Spain and the USA eating the dirt in that tricky little dogleg right-hander. A lot of work to do for RJ Hampshire. He came through pretty good after his fall yesterday. Not sure if you've had a chance to talk to the American riders overnight. I spoke to Plessinger today, and he said, yeah, the track was pretty good. But look at Jett Lawrence down in 35th place as well. So the rider who was second in his qualifying race yesterday, all of a sudden with a lot of work to do, pressure on the Australians.
Yeah, Jett's been incredibly good at moving forward when he's had to, and I stress when he's had to. It's been few and far between the times he's really had to put a charge on, but I think he'll be able to move forward. The biggest thing here is the track's got to work in a little bit. He's going to be in heavy traffic, a mix of 250s and 450s, but these early laps when everybody's bunched together is when he's got to try to make that time up.
Plessinger in 4th on the number 1. He's just behind Jeremy Siwa. Vial behind him, and there's Lawrence in the opposite direction. That gives you an indication as how far back he is, in and around the 30th place mark, give or take a few positions. We'll keep an eye on his progress. Oh, back end stepping out on Febvre's Kawasaki. Not for the first time we've seen that.
Yeah, it's so tricky, and it looks like there's traction, right? For me, just looking at the color of the dirt and the way it lines up, and it's the same for Febvre. He thinks he's going to find positive traction, so he grabs a handful of throttle, and the rear end just steps out.
Jorge Prado doing what he did yesterday. Whole shot leading the way, but this time Romain Febvre closer than he was yesterday, because Febvre was in around about 5th place in that qualifying race, the first race of the day on Saturday. He does not want to let Jorge Prado off the hook. These two, first and second in the MXGP World Championship, picking up right from where they left off as their season ended a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and Febvre just didn't look comfortable yesterday. He didn't look like he was able to really push the pace he wanted to. looks a little different today, more aggressive, trying to hold the pace of Prado, and the longer he can stick around here, if Prado is not able to escape, that really sets up nicely for Febvre later in the race.
I was talking to my French TV colleagues next door about Romain Febvre. If they had a chance to speak to him, he said, yeah, he wasn't happy with how he went in the qualifying race, and I think that was because while he was in the ascendancy chasing guys down, he felt mentally he was the best guy on the track. Jett Lawrence came from behind and caught him and passed him, and it was a ruthless pass as well, like not messing around, and I think that just detuned him a little bit, and he said, I'm just going to go back and watch all the races and see where I can make up, because he couldn't figure out where he needed to make up time. So has he gone and watched those races? Has he learned something from those qualifying races? If so, and he's found something, then he's putting it into good use now, because he's got Prado right where he wants him.
Yeah, and you wonder if the different track conditions versus yesterday to today have changed a little bit. There's more traction. Yes, it is slippery, but it was really, really hard packed yesterday.
One of the fastest riders on track, Jett Lawrence, now 23rd. He was 35th a lap ago. That guy is making some fast inroads through the pack. We'll keep an eye on this battle here for now. But Prado can't shake the number 4, who went 1-1. He just caught an edge on the uphill there. Back end stepped out just at the base of the takeoff. But it's Prado, Febvre, Siwa, Plessinger, Roczen, the first 5 riders, all MXGP 450 machines. Vial, the first 250 MX2 rider, in 6th. Jonas is 7th for Latvia. Langenfelder, De Wolf, they are 8th and 9th. Here's Tom Vial, bottom left. He is in 6th place at the moment. France on 8 points as it stands right now. 2nd with Febvre, 6th with Vial. Germany on next on 14, 5 and 9 for Roczen and Langenfelder. De Wolf has just found his way past Langenfelder into that 8th place.
Well, we talk about so often at this event how critical the MX2 positioning is, and for Tom Vial to be up into 6th position this early bodes so well for France, because look at RJ Hampshire, you look at Oriol Oliver from Spain. They're outside of the top 20 right now. It just puts them in a really difficult position. It's almost a throwaway score right out of the gate.
Yeah, Hampshire has actually just pulled himself into the top 20, as you said that. So every point vital. Remember, the lower the position you are in the race, the higher point scores you want, and that is not what you want. 1 point is for first, 2 points for second, 3 for third. Lowest score wins.
Yeah, and a team like France here, if they could put a 2-6 on the board, it's almost like an insurance policy, because they have that throwaway score as we progress through the day that they can still use. USA or even Australia with Jett Lawrence, say he can't move far enough up, you ruin that right out of the gate. You have to be perfect the rest of the day to land on the podium.
Well, Jett Lawrence is still parked in 23rd, despite that charge from 35th. He's now to 21st place, so
you know, the problem there is, though, his best lap is 4 seconds slower than the leaders, right? And that's simply due to traffic. We know how fast Jett Lawrence can go. But if you can't get clear, if you're having to follow people into every corner, you're not going to be able to make up time on even the riders in the top 10 who are going 2 seconds a lap faster than him.
Romain Febvre using that cute line, not the top of the hill there, the turn before, where he was just cutting across those ruts. Good speed, that's what Febvre's being told. He sets the fastest lap again, a 1:49.1, but it's chicken feed. It's by a 10th over Jorge Prado. That gap staying at 1.2 seconds between these two. Roczen up to 4th, Plessinger down to 5th. So Germany finding their way past the American.
Yeah, Roczen actually put in the best lap of the race so far with a 1:49, just a touch slower than Febvre. But I think this is really positive for Febvre. I think he's very happy to be sitting here this early in the race. I don't think he feels any urgency. There's certainly no pressure from behind them. So I think he'll just kind of see how this unfolds. The crowd is urging him to move forward, so maybe that, you know, makes him want to get a move done quicker. But you have to think, after yesterday, this is such a nice bounce back and such a nice answer from Romain Febvre.
Yeah, showing great bounce back ability. Romain Febvre there, just asking too much, but he's double, single into this rhythm. This is where he got passed by Jett Lawrence yesterday, but he has Prado on the ropes at the moment, and we are on lap 4, still 21.5 minutes plus 2 to go. These two minding their own business. They've got about a 6-second advantage over Switzerland's Jeremy Siwa. Roczen about a 1.5 seconds behind the Swiss, and then Plessinger 2.5 seconds further back in 5th position. And he's only 2.5 clear of Vial. Vial was quicker than Plessinger that time around. Listen to the roar. There's going to be a pass at the bottom of the hill. It's going to be decisive. Not quite. He thought about it. If he was a bike length closer, he would have definitely lunged down the inside of Prado. A lucky escape for the Spaniard.
And I was wondering how patient Febvre would be here. I actually thought he would be content to sit behind him, but it doesn't look like that's the case. And you wonder if it's the ruse. You wonder if he just wants to make a move on Prado and show him that he can beat him, because Prado was so convincing yesterday. Maybe just take away a little bit of confidence.
See how the back end's working overtime, coming out of that final turn on the run down to the finish line there on Febvre's Kawasaki.
Well, what's impressive to me here is Febvre is taking different lines, right? He's not in the obvious line, and he's still able to make up time, which would tell you that if he could get by Prado, he may be able to check out here.
See his intuition there through the line as well. Improvisation, I should say. Trying to stay low over that little double into the Dragon's back as they head up onto the quad at the top of the hill. Both riders getting the distance. Febvre coming up a little bit short there. That's why he bounced. But again, he likes this outside line here. In the B final, riders going up the inside through those two singles were washing the front end, going down. A couple of riders fell there, so maybe Febvre's seen that and saying, you know what, go for the safety, go for the momentum around the outside, and hope that there's an issue, you know, following whether it's Prado or somebody else in that case.
I think he's just going anywhere that Prado's not, which is, it's very difficult to turn the lap times in that they're turning and not take the best line, right? He hasn't followed Prado, I don't think, one time around this entire lap. So that bodes well for his pace, because some of these corners, you know, he'd rather be on the inside of where he's at, and he's still able to close the gap down anytime Prado gets the gap back built out.
Nothing in it between Prado of Spain, Romain Febvre of France. Febvre takes the long way, and he's going to triple his way down, and Febvre gets squeezed, and he's going to have to think outside of the box here. He gets in and out of the turn early, but he can't get alongside Prado. It's Prado who is just hanging on by the skin of his teeth. This line here from Febvre, but he's going to be the wrong side of the Spaniard. He tried to squeeze him to the inside, and he's slow out of that turn. Can't get the power down, but you know the intent is there.
Yeah, this just feels like a matter of time, but Febvre's got to be careful. You have the race set up exactly how you want it. You can't make a critical mistake here trying to force a pass.
And these two, the way that they're racing, they are pushing it harder than anybody else. And okay, they're very fit guys, but the time, it's almost like these guys are racing in a way that they're coming through the pack, in the way that Jett Lawrence is, who incidentally is up into 16th place. Those energy levels are starting to take a toll. Not yet, but they will towards the end of the race. They will know they've been in a race. Meanwhile, Febvre, will he use this outside line at the top of the hill for good effect? Prado can hear him underneath that helmet of his, keeps him to the outside, but Febvre is not going to get the job done here because the line gets closed on the downhill.
Yeah, he loses a little bit of time here using this outside. But this next section where he's going to the far right, on his far right, seems a little bit quicker. You wonder if he could set up the pass that we saw so often yesterday where he pivots off this outside right here.
Just saw the wave yellows in the background.
Watch the pivot here,
and
to the inside.
This is the pass that got him.
Yep.
That's the pass that got him in the qualifying race yesterday by Jett Lawrence. Febvre leads on lap 6.
And you can see him setting that up. He knew that that line was faster before it, and all you have to do is wait for Prado to commit to going to the outside and cut underneath him.
This is a great view in a moment when he turns right at the end of the straight and launches downhill into that crowd with all of them cheering for him. Febvre, look at that, leading the way.
Yeah, and he's on pure adrenaline right now, right? He's goosebumps, and yeah, just so much adrenaline of a boost when you get into the lead and the crowd goes crazy. Then you see Prado, he's taking a deep breath here, trying to regroup. He's got to be hoping that Febvre makes a mistake, because Febvre's pace right now is really tough to contend with.
Well, Jett Lawrence, he's up into 15th place. Hunter Lawrence is in 12th. Here's what happened here with Jett Lawrence. Oh, just on the outside. Did he get hit there as well by Roczen on the way through? Anyway, it's up. There he is behind Adamo at one stage in the race, but I think he's gone by Adamo quite easily. These are his passes through. Quadding up, that's Camden McClellan just ahead of him. And then the 56, I think that's, is that Talviku? Yes, it is, of Estonia. And then up the inside of Valandren.
See Jett's lap times down to the 151s, so he's obviously picking up the pace. He's still off what the leaders are able to do, but again, he's still in traffic.
Yeah, and damage limitation. He's just found his way past Ben Watson, Team Great Britain. So Jett Lawrence now up in the 14th, Ben Watson 15, Calvin Villana in the Netherlands, they obviously can't win this thing with just their 2 riders. He's in 16. McClellan, South Africa, 17. Italy's Adamo is in 18. Where's his teammate? So Italy with 13 and an 18, Prado and Adamo. Talvico and RJ Hampshire down in 20th place. Lucas Koenen, Belgium in 22nd. Where are the Belgians? 10th and 22nd. That's a high score. Now, obviously, they will count these scores at the moment. So as it stands right now, France on 7, Germany 15, the Netherlands on 24, Switzerland 25, the same as USA and Australia. Come the end of the race, you can drop whatever is your worst score. They'll be hoping to change some big numbers. Right, this is Siwa and Roczen. Roczen up the inside, moves into 3rd. Ah, squeezes him to the right-hand side. Not a lot of leg room there.
Yeah, I think he was a little fearful of Siwa having that momentum. We saw Febvre try that same pass on Prado and wasn't able to do it because the outside doesn't have quite the depth of dirt, so you get a little bit better drive, and Roczen was just making sure that Siwa could use that.
Roczen just looking across at his pit board there. Look at the gap he's already put in the space of like half a dozen corners and a couple of hills on Jeremy Siwa. That gap already down to 3.3 seconds. So Plessinger 3 seconds behind the Swiss. Vial still 6, and that gap has gone is widened. So that's 5 seconds between them. But Vial, the top MX2 rider, De Wolf is the 2nd MX2 rider. Those guys as well, all 3 classes will be an individual class winner as it stands at the end of it. Again, the lowest score. There's your classification for the nations right now with 14.5 minutes plus 2 to go. And what is a 30-minute plus 2 lap race? And as you can see, France sitting pretty right now. But Germany, as the day goes on, they'll be hoping to get rid of that 12 from Simon Langenfelder. And that's where you see things narrow up. And that 3rd race is all important, isn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting to see here Jonas, Kai de Wolf, and Tim Geiser, who really never raced together, right? That's what's so unique about the Motocross of Nations. Different eras, different sized motorcycles, and here they are battling.
And Geiser's teammate, Jan Panzer, he fell whilst we were looking at one of these angles and fell in the background there a couple of laps ago. Panzer in 26 for Slovenia. And once again, Geiser exercising that line. It seems to me everybody's been watching yesterday's qualifying races to pick up on that little line.
Yeah, and if you are on the left side coming in there, it's really hard to defend against it because you can't get right to block them before they cut underneath you. So it's something to watch if any of the riders in race 2 or race 3 are watching. Of course, they are back at their hospitality tents. That's going to be a line we're going to see used all day.
The lead Belgian just coming into view in the baby blue. That's Jago Geerts. He is in 10th place at the moment, just ahead of Hunter Lawrence, Simon Langenfelder, Albi Ferrato, Jett Lawrence up to 14th, but not really advancing beyond there. In fact, he's closed within a couple of tenths now of Albi Ferrato, knocking on the door for 13th place. As we go to Tim Geiser.
Bit surprised to see Geiser not further forward. He was so strong at the final GP of the year, and even yesterday just didn't look like his normal self quite yet.
Arm pump yesterday. I spoke to their press officer, Dave Bulmer, and that's all it was. So trying to get himself fired up ahead of this one. You need to be fired up for this. You know, if you need some extra motivation, then anyway, where are we? There's Jonas just ahead of him. Roczen is dropping down the order. He's gone from 3rd to 5th. So Siwa back in 3rd, Plessinger up to 4th. Where's Hampshire as well? He's in 20th place. But Paul's Jonas under attack from Tim Geiser. These 2 MXGP riders, 7th and 8th, Latvia and Slovenia. Having a tiptoe around the inside, it works for Geiser in the way that it wasn't working for Febvre earlier on the race. Here's Roczen's mistake just a short moment ago that's cost him 3rd place. Ah, look at that, the ground cam. Oh, stalls it. Kickstart Kenny in action. That's the disadvantage with that Suzuki, but fortunately he's got it fired up, but it's cost him a lot of time. He's now 19 seconds off the lead, 2 behind Plessinger, and about 6 seconds or thereabouts behind Siwa.
Yeah, and his heart had to stop when that engine did, because these engines, to get all that compression and build that power, they're incredibly hard to start, even, you know, especially with the Kickstarter. So thankfully he was able to get it going. That could have been disastrous for Team Germany.
Tim Geiser has found his way past Jonas. We saw that a moment ago, but Kai de Wolf is in there as well. He caught the bank and runs Jonas wide. He loses 2 positions as Geerts goes through as well and gets the better of de Wolf.
Geerts gets a 2-fer there. Kai de Wolf is on a mission here. That's contact 2 corners in a row, and he's going to get passed again. by both of them. That's the tough part of being on a 250 on this racetrack, and it might be why he's so frustrated, because he's getting passed up every uphill. But interesting strategy from the Wolf. Oh,
crazy couple of corners again.
And now he's got to deal with Hunter Lawrence, who's come up behind him as well.
Yeah, Hunter's got the best seat in the house, but he's looking at that saying, I don't want to be
probably terrified of that.
Jett Lawrence right there as well. So the two Lawrence brothers now, line astern, 11th and 12th place.
Well, and Hunter's going to be very happy to see his brother coming back through, because surely he saw him on the ground on the first lap there, and hopefully they can charge. They spend every day riding together, so I would bet that they will work together and move through here. They might need both of them together to team up for Kind of Wolf, because he looks ready for more contact.
10.5 minutes plus 2 to go. Watch this here. Just caught the bank there. That caught Jonas by surprise. He then loses out 2 positions and then gets to the bottom of the hill. And tell you what, Geerts was lucky to put his leg back in there, but he lost out again on the uphill. So hard charging, but not the prettiest. Meanwhile, Geerts has found his way past Jonas. Jonas gets the better rhythm, though, or does he? Back end of the straight, 2-2-1 works better for Geerts. And that's so off camber. You don't realise how steep and how quickly it turns up and tightens up on itself. Right, Jett has found his way past Hunter, 7 and 8 for the green and gold of Australia. This has been a fantastic charge through the field for Jett Lawrence, because a lot of riders yesterday saying difficult to pass, this, that and the other, but he found areas to pass where others didn't, and he's doing it again now, and he's up into 11th place.
Yeah, let's watch and see if Jett, when he makes these passes, pushes anyone wide, right? Because if he pushes them wide, that sets Hunter up to go right with him, similar to what we saw with the Wolf. Every time he would make a move, Geerts or someone else would maybe be able to capitalize on it. So see if there's a little teamwork.
Cuts to the inside. Moves. Jett is going to be running it down the inside of the Wolf. Does he find his way through? Not quite. Going to have to decide what to do here, because Jonas, he knew, was to the inside, but he could have always cut across the outside. Effective from Jett Lawrence, picking off the Latvian there.
We see Jonas make a business decision and a smart move there, because had he committed hard to that corner, Jett would have likely taken him out.
So Roczen 5th, Vial 6th, Geiser 7th, Geerts 8, Jonas, De Wolf, Jett Lawrence, Hunter Lawrence. Just wait for the timing to update. Here's Vial. So Tom Vial, there you go, Geerts 8, De Wolf 9, Jett Lawrence 10 now. But Tom Vial, best placed MX2 rider, and his score with Romain Febvre giving them the lowest at the moment, a 1 and a 6, 7 points for Team France. No one else even close at this stage. Here's what happened at the start. We assume it was Jorge Prado.
And you see how clean Tom Vial's start was. And luckily for Vial, he started next to Hunter Lawrence and Andre Adamo, so he had 250s on each side of him.
Jorge Prado with the first box hole shot, and he was the second rider to the gate. They put their MX2 rider up the inside. That gave him more of an advantage around the outside there. So Jorge Prado with the first box hole shot of the weekend then. And he is 1.8 seconds, or he was 1.8 seconds behind Romain Febvre. As he hits the line now, it's down to 2.4. Don't think he'll worry about that too much, though, because obviously another race later on, MXGP and Open. But the short straw is the MX2 riders this time around, because they've got back-to-back races with not too much of a breather in between. Gate drop at 2:40 local time. And this race will be over probably around about 1:45. So by the time all's said and done, less than an hour between motos.
You wonder some of the lesser experienced 250 guys, I think of Oriol Oliveira, how do they respond to such a short break? Is their fitness there? I think about Team USA and RJ Hampshire. He's very fit. Works with Alden Baker, and that should be a strength for him. He had a tough result here with the crash in Moto 1, but I think his ability to respond and get back to full fitness, and that should help him in Moto 2 versus his 250 or MX2 rivals anyway.
2.4 seconds clear, Romain Febvre. He has definitely brought his A game, has the number 4. Got a good affinity with this place. Remember, he went 1-1, a double race win here in 2015, the last time France won here at this venue, in what was a streak of 5 in a row. Starting from 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 in Redbud in the USA. Behind Febvre. Nice to see some other action on track other than Febvre out on his own here, because he's 3 seconds clear of Prado. Plessinger on his own, 14 seconds further back in third. Roczen is right there behind him, so a good recovery this from Ken Roczen, the German, in yellow, because he's closed right back in on the number one. Of course, Plessinger running number one because America defending champions 1, 2, and 3 on their bikes. His teammate RJ Hampshire now up in 18th place. They'll be hoping to throw that away later on if they can, but for now, Roczen all over the back of the Texan. That's where he's from, isn't it?
Aaron Plessinger's from Ohio.
Oh, Ohio,
yeah,
really?
you would think Texas,
yeah,
with his attitude, but you know, I'm just watching the track right here, and it's so choppy. And you can see how much movement the tires and how much that's transferring into the riders. It is going to be a brutal racetrack later this afternoon. Remember, this is only race 1, and just some of the downhills and some of the entries to the corners, it's really, really rough.
Up onto that plateau. Roczen, look at the corner speed of Roczen around there, up on the pegs, railing that bank. Gets a back marker right where he doesn't need him into that tight right-hand turn, turn 3. And he's still got him ahead of him as they launch onto the triple or quad, and he can't get over there either. A little bit of daylight between him and Plessinger now. Watch this here. He just comes in, and all of a sudden it's like, frustrating. James Scott there, the 62 from New Zealand, who qualified 14th. So no B final for the Kiwis this year.
The balance required to stand up at speed around a corner like that, just next level type coordination. I don't think most people can respect it because they've never ridden a track like this, but Kenny makes it look really easy. One of the most difficult things you can do on a motorcycle.
Yeah. So France lead the way on 8 points. So Vial has been passed by Geiser. They've dropped a point. Will that be a crucial point later on in the day? We'll find out soon enough, I guess. Germany are second in the overall classification. Australia are third with 19, so they've clawed to within 2 points of Germany at the moment with a 9 and a 10. Jett Lawrence and Hunter Lawrence.
You have to be really impressed with Plessinger here. Not his best day yesterday, didn't have the best free practice, didn't have a great qualifying race, and to be running around on third, we'll see how it wraps up here. But regardless, I think his ride deserves a lot of respect. They made their way around Seaward. He's been able to battle with Roczen most of this race. I am very, very impressed and satisfied with this ride. Remember, none of these riders from the USA have ever ridden this track before. They've never raced in Europe before, so it's a lot of this is brand new to them.
Yeah, the only rider that has is coming up in the next race, Christian Craig, who only ridden indoors in Paris a couple of times. So completely different atmosphere. Atmosphere probably similar, but completely different racetrack.
Right. Yeah, it's just the environment, the pressure, racing for your country, all those things. You know, Aaron Plessinger has had the opportunity once in 2018. But yeah, it just bodes well, right? RJ Hampshire is battling forward to 18th, but this is really impressive.
Jett Lawrence up the inside of Jago Geerts, lighting up the back end. Didn't make the pass stick there, but he's still behind him as well in 9th place. So Geerts hanging on for Belgium in 8th position. About 2 seconds behind Tom Vial. Not quite close enough for any kind of deja vus around here for those two, but from a year ago.
Well, if you think, you know, in a different world, had things gone differently, we could have been watching Jago Geerts and Jett Lawrence battle for MX2 World Championships for the last few years.
Could have been.
So this is a little bit of a preview of what that may have looked like.
So Plessinger under pressure once again from Germany's Ken Roczen. Just a little bit untidy through there, lost his footing. Takes a look back as well. Probably thought it maybe cost him a little bit of time, and you'd be right to.
Yeah, and you wonder for AP here, I have a feeling that he's more comfortable having Roczen there. It's a rider he's familiar with. He's raced him year after year versus someone he doesn't know, Jeremy Seaward, or someone he's less familiar with. Doesn't mean it's less pressure. It's just a little bit of familiarity.
We'll keep an eye on the top of the hill as Prado is within touching distance of Romain Febvre again. 1.2 seconds the gap between them. So a good lap and a good response of 52.1 compared to a 53.02. Prado the advantage over Febvre, and I wonder if there's going to be a last sort of burst, a last flourish, if you like, from the Spaniard, just to catch Romain Febvre off guard. Can he do to Febvre what Jett Lawrence did and demoralize the Frenchman in that qualifying race? Well, Febvre's not going to relinquish this lead too much, but Prado knows if he can get there and start applying the pressure, a simple mistake could determine the outcome of this race.
Well, and Prado put in a 1:52.1 the last lap, by far the fastest lap of anyone on the racetrack. So you can tell he's found his rhythm again. You wonder if he was just kind of sitting back. He knew that Romain Febvre was putting in a big splurge of energy early, and he's just going to kind of wait him out.
So Jett Lawrence has found his way past Jorge Prado. He moves into 8th place. He's about a second and a half behind Vial. But Ken Roczen still 1.1 behind Plessinger. Didn't quite get alongside him at the top of the hill. Plessinger just kept him to the outside. As long as he can see that front fender, he knew that he was in a good place to close him down on the descent, in that short descent, penultimate corner on the track.
And we come down to maybe 3 laps to go here, and battle for first and a battle for third shaping up.
Jan Panzer just needs to stay out of the way there, 1:19 for Slovenia. And Roczen does squeeze him through on the exit of turn 7, through that rhythm. So Roczen back up into 3rd place. And Prado pushing Febvre once again and squeezes him out on the exit. Oh, it's all gone quiet over there on the hillside as Prado goes through and leads once again.
Yeah, it was that same decision that Jonas had to make with Jett Lawrence earlier, right? You set yourself up to get cleaned out there. I don't think Febvre's quite done here, but that was interesting to see him check up.
What a move, though, and what composure from Jorge Prado. Just to sit back, you said he was going to take a breather. It would also be very kind of easy to say, you know what, there is another race later on, but he wants to come here as the MXGP World Champion, remember, crowned a couple of weeks ago, just to say, here's my statement. You at home in France, I've got the measure of you, and I'm going to take you to the cleaners kind of thing.
What do you think about Febvre using so much energy early, right? He was all over the racetrack, just using every ounce of it. It doesn't seem like he's able to match that intensity here late.
We alluded to it, didn't we? The fact that these two were sort of going so aggressively at each other, and it's like they were trying to come through the field, using those energy reserves. And this is now where it's starting to play into the hands of someone like Jorge Prado. But you've got to imagine that mentally, the pressure, the toll from the fans, the weight of expectation. Yes, Febvre's used to dealing with it. He's dealt with it before. He's a former world champion. And of course, he, is in a good position to win here. He's not going to back down. But I don't think he was expecting Prado to launch an attack on him. But he's coming back, and that's showing good grit and determination from the Frenchman.
And to be fair, I thought that Febvre would be able to run away with this. He just had so much pace, and it looked like Prado was almost, it was an inevitability to get past. You see Febvre here, the adrenaline's back. He does not want to lose this race after leading most of it.
Back marker there, Cody Cooper, just almost banging bars there. He was right, on the inside. That was just Febvre's back end coming back on him and causing an almost collision there.
Yeah, in that situation, you don't know where to go because you've got Prado on one side and Febvre on the other. You just try to kind of stay in the middle. Luckily, it didn't go worse.
A lap ago, top of the hill. This was Prado saying, you know what, I will slow it down. You're going to have to hit the brakes. I'm going to fly right by. I know Steve Matthews will be like that. He's a big Top Gun fan, but Prado continues to lead once again, but for how much longer? Nothing that a win for Febvre will do after leading for so many laps. Lap 6, he took over the lead. We are now lap 16, so the best part, 9-10 laps, Febvre was in front. Prado wants to shush the French crowd.
Yeah, I mean, these two battled for the World Championship, and Romain Febvre missed a round, which certainly changed the points landscape, but I think that Romain Febvre felt like he was the best rider most of the time.
Gets it right this time. I think Prado was just hanging around, trying to keep him there, trying to be too cute, but Febvre just threw it in there, got good drive, and once again, with 2 to go, Prado and Febvre now leads, and at the top of the hill, Jett Lawrence has moved up past Vial. So Lawrence now up in the 7th place. You know what? He was on the floor. He was in 40th position.
See Hunter right behind that crew too. So the Australians making a move. That's big for the overall points. If you're thinking about Vial moving backwards, it's still a great score. The Australians moving past them would be huge.
What a statement this is also from, we're talking about statements here. Prado to close down Febvre, to take the lead, thinking, right, I can take this, run away with it. But what a great response, an immediate response from Romain Febvre, who said all year long, I'm the fastest rider in MXGP, just had to miss that GP in Spain because of injury and whatever, head injury. But he's come back with a vengeance here. And if you can't get yourself out of bed and get yourself you know, up for the attack here without a blue diamond, you know, in front of these fans, then you've got problems, you know what I mean? But he is responding to the crowd.
Yeah, you wonder if he just got complacent there. He had a nice gap, and then Prado put in 2 or 3 good laps, and that's all it took. But whatever it was certainly a wake-up call, and Febvre's back on the charge.
Into the final lap, the gap between Febvre and Prado, 1.7 seconds. The crowd, 102,000 people over the weekend, on their feet, baying for this rider right here. Vial, his teammate, in 8th place. They will lead the nation's classification after this one with the lowest score, the least amount of points on 9. Germany and Australia tied on 17. But Romain Febvre, he's been cool. Yes, he was aggressive in the beginning. He tried to harass and harry Jorge Prado into making a mistake. It didn't come. He took the lead on lap 6, lost it 10 laps later, and took it right back pretty much immediately. And it's been a very, very strong statement from the number 4.
Yeah, this was a nice response, right? He was so strong early. And then I was curious there, wondering if it was arm pump or he just maybe needed to change his lines a bit, but now he looks back to form. So it'll be interesting to see if Lisa can ask just what was going on. Did Prado just have more pace?
Takes a look over his shoulder there, just wants to know exactly where Prado is. But this was it, ran the outside. But also Prado just got a bit of a kick there mid-rut. But I think Febvre was already committed. And he did the hard work. He put himself in that position. Still had some work to do. It wasn't until the exit of turn 7 that he did find his way past the Spaniard.
Yeah, and you see him staying just inside of the rut there, trying to find smooth dirt. Traction is going to be at a premium all day. It's going to be tough to find.
Out of the final turn, he takes a look over his shoulder, and Romain Febvre repeats what he did in 2015. He wins race 1 here at Ernée at the Monster Energy Motocross of Nations, and you can see what it means to the former world champion. He's come here with just one thing on his mind, winning here at home. His job is done for now. He will go out and do it again later on. It's how he regroups from here. Gauthier Paulin, all smiles there, the team manager, the first time in the job. Meanwhile, Lawrence has found his way past Geiser, who will try to respond in the final turn. He does. It's going to be a drag race, but Lawrence just gets it, and he moves into 6. What a ride from the number 7.
Yeah, that was really impressive. It sets a purple in section 3 on the last lap of the race. That is really impressive, and they need it to get onto the podium, to fight back, to have any chance to win this thing. They're going to need every point they can get from their superstar Jett Lawrence.
So Febvre, Prado, Roczen, Siwa up to 4th on the final lap. He found his way past Plessinger. So the Americans lose a point. Lawrence gained 1 with that move on Geiser. He moves to 6. Geiser down to 7. Vial 8. Heertz 9. Hunter Lawrence 10. But what a ride for Romain Febvre. A great show from him and Prado. Jett Lawrence possibly outside of that, the ride of the race, coming off the floor, turn 4, fighting his way through on a difficult to pass track to claim 6th on that final lap. Here it was in the final turn. He left the door open. Geiser thought he'd sneak through, but the urgency in which Lawrence got back on the gas there, the drag race, there was nothing in it as they hit the line. 1/10 of a second, the difference between them.
Well, it shows you how smart Jett Lawrence is, because we saw Paul Jonas and we saw Romain Febvre check up there, right? They gave the line to the inside rider. Jett decided he could cut back and beat them to the spot. It just shows you how innovative he is and what's to come in his future.
Talviku over the line, so normally we would say he's the final point scorers, but this one for a win, 40 for 40th. 2 riders who didn't go much further in the race. Yannis Reislis, the 125 European champion this year, and Kevin Horgmo didn't even make a lap for Norway. So a Latvian and a Norwegian struggling. Anyway, here is Lisa with our race 1 winner for France, Romain Febvre.
Romain Febvre, you did exactly what you needed to do. Nice response to Prado there. You got the race win on home soil. France is now the top of the classification.
Yeah, unbelievable. I'm so happy about my race. You know, yesterday I struggled so much during racing, and again, with my ability, I could turn today much better as yesterday. And good start behind Prado, past him. He caught me 2 laps to go, and then I knew like I have to do something and make the pass and win the race. I'm so happy. Team France is leading Tom. I know he had some good race as well, so it's not finished. 2 more to go, but we are in good position.
Good luck for the next race.
Wow, the energy levels after that. It was an epic contest between Romain Febvre and Jorge Prado. Eventually, it was Febvre who won out. Still got another race to go later on. And after that race, they need that break between motos. Jason Thomas.
Yeah, I think he'll have to worry about energy later. That he'll never forget that moto right there. Nothing is won quite yet, but for him to bounce back in front of the home crowd and take that win, you could see how much, and he mentioned how much it meant to him.
Romain Febvre and France win race 1 here at Ernée. Wow, fantastic race. Take a look at the race results then as we have them. Romain Febvre, you'll see the country, the flag, and the points alongside. Remember, lowest points will take the overall at the end of the day. Febvre, France wins it. Prado, Spain, second. Roczen, Germany, third. Seewer, Switzerland, final lap with a move on Plessinger of the USA. Jett Lawrence, final turn pass on Tim Geiser to give Australia a vital point. Geiser, 7. Vial, 8 for France. That 1-8 is a 9 score for the French. They lead going into race 2. Geertz, Belgium, picking up 9 points, and Hunter Lawrence, 10. Then we had De Wolf of the Netherlands, Ferrato, Italy, Jonas, Latvia, Langenfelder from Germany. He was the wingman too. Ken Roczen. And then after that, we had Valandren, Hampshire in 16th, the second of the Americans. Ben Watson, 17 for GB. Adamo, Lucas Kunin, Talriku, and the rest of the riders there. Oliver of Spain, he fell, I think, on the opening lap, and it was obviously a ride through the field for him. So they'll be looking to try and drop that result later on today, if possible. Take a look at the Motocross Nation standings then, as we have them right now. Remember, with France, it was a 1-8. Can they throw away the 8 of Tom Vial later on and, you know, reduce that gap later on? Or Australia, you know, with their scores, can they throw away the 10th from Hunter Lawrence? This is the jiggling that the riders have to do and the teams have to figure out as the day goes on.
Yeah, I think it's really important there. RJ Hampshire and Oliver crashed together, and RJ was able to get 10 spots further up the leaderboard than Oliver was.
Well, let's take a look at the race highlight then, shall we? Here's what happened. MXGP, MX2, race 1. Jorge Prado from about 15 gates along. It was he who sided his way into the lead with the foxhole shot. Romain Febvre right there. But look, Jett Lawrence was in about 4th place. Around the outside here, you'll see in the background, there he goes wide, and then he just runs into trouble. He goes down. We were just looking ahead to see how these two would pair out, but Prado led. Seewer briefly into second, but Febvre just getting the better of him right there. And then, lap 6, we had a change for the lead, and we thought that was job done.
Yeah, it was that was a really nice response from Prado. I mean, it was back and forth. Speaking of bouncing back, Ken Roczen stalls his motorcycle, still able to get back to 3rd. But yeah, it was, I think, solid performances. We see Roczen here with the issue, just locks up the back brake and stalls it.
Yeah, he
and
made
right
that
there,
move. Yeah.
His heart rate spikes, everything's going wrong, and to recover to 3rd was really impressive.
We had some fireworks further down the field as well as riders battled for 8, but Kenny Roczen getting the better of Plessinger as he moved up towards 3rd place. But it was Romain Febvre who regained the lead, took the lead, and went on to win race 1 from Prado, Roczen, Seewer, and Plessinger. I think they liked it over there.
Yeah, he's giving the home crowd exactly what they want, and yeah, I mean, what else could you ask for? That was an incredible ride for Febvre.
And everybody happy down there at Kawasaki as well. Foxhole shot time then. Jorge Prado, as he has done all year, 11 foxhole shots this year in MXGP. Picks up another one there. Shoe budget for the missus. But the foxhole shot then, Jorge Prado will have 3 races, of course. Will he bag 1 more? He can only get 2, so because he only gets 2 races.
Wow, it's just been a career of foxhole shots for Jorge Prado.
Yeah, well, we have just been treated to a fantastic first race. Let's try and recap during these best moments. AP, you were impressed with his performance. Shame he lost a position on the final lap to Jeremy Seewer, but how much of that is just down to the experience of this event, maybe?
Yeah, I just think he rode well, right? Results speak for themselves, but just didn't have a great Saturday, and to find the pace and be in the mix, I think, was the most important part of that.
All eyes, though, on what was going on ahead of them, and it was an epic encounter, wasn't it, between the 2 top riders in MXGP this year, Romain Febvre, Jorge Prado, but setting the scene perfectly for race 2, which is going to be MX2 and the Open. So the short straw, the 250 riders, they've got back-to-back races, less than an hour, really, to turn things around.
Yeah, for Hunter Lawrence, he hasn't been able to ride a lot. I'm thinking about Team Australia. He's had to kind of sit around and do therapy on his back. So how is he going to respond not only to the fitness side of that, but also the injury side of that with his back?
Well, Romain Febvre and France win race 1. And of course, we will be back for race 2. That race goes live, broadcast at 2:30. But we've got Lorenzo Resta coming up in 5 minutes' time from the paddock. And that's on our, what's that? Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Anyway, enjoy Lorenzo Resta. We'll see you soon.